Occupational possibilities. Occupational possibilities refers to what people take for granted as what they can and should do, and the occupations that are supported and promoted by various aspects of the broader systems and structures in which their lives are lived. The three constructs that shape occupational possibilities include discourse, subjectivity, and governance. Discourse is a group of meanings, statements, assumptions, and beliefs about a construct that influence how we talk and act about the construct. Discourse includes stories we share about a construct as seen through culture, politics, and media. Through discourse, possibilities about roles and occupations are transmitted and are shaped to become the normal. Subjectivity describes the possibility for personhood. Through the medium of discourse, society dictates the subjective ways a certain type of person can be viewed as ideal versus non-ideal or good versus bad. Governance describes any action carried out by institutions that try to shape the conduct of individuals. Governing can be carried out by institutions such as the state, healthcare system, educators, or parents. These institutions govern by creating policies, rules, or expectations that shape how people act and behave.
To illustrate occupational possibilities, we will explore the story of Maria and the occupation of childcare. Maria is a married Catholic woman who raised 3 children. When her first child was born, she used her 6 weeks of maternity leave to care for her newborn girl before going back to work as a school office administrative assistant. Similarly, she used her 6 weeks of maternity leave to care for her second girl and 8 weeks of maternity leave for her third child, since he was born via C-section. Her husband took a week of vacation each time one of their children was born before going back to work full-time for the county's Department of Water and Power. Her husband did not want Maria to go back to work right away after maternity leave ended, believing that mothers should spend more time taking care of their children. However, Maria felt that in order to be a good mother, she needed to also provide financially for their family. Yet she didn't feel comfortable leaving her children with babysitters who were strangers. She was able to arrange to have her mother and mother-in-law take care of her children while she went to work. Although all her time is dedicated to her full-time job, taking care of 3 children and managing the household, she still feels blessed and fulfilled. We will explore how the construct of occupational possibilities influences Maria's decision, focusing on the impact of discourse, subjectivity, and governance.
Maria's role as a mother is shaped by the prevalent discourse on motherhood in the United States. Traditionally, within the family narrative, the mother is more often than not the one who is responsible for childcare, while the father serves as the provider of the household. In more recent discourse, working mothers are considered the normal. Based on current discourse, working mothers are expected to balance work, take care of the children, and manage the household. This can seem as a daunting standard to meet. Therefore, Maria recruited the help of her mother and mother-in-law to delegate childcare to. While the hope of Maria's husband for her to have more time with the children reflects traditional discourse on motherhood, Maria felt the need to live up to the dominant discourse of working motherhood. As seen from the grandmother's role in helping with childcare, the traditional discourse of women taking care of children spans across generations. Despite an increase in working moms in today's society, this assumption that women have bigger responsibility than men to take care of their children is still widespread. These beliefs or discourse about motherhood dominate how society thinks about motherhood and influence Maria's decision about going back to work and who would take care of her children. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, Quote, 70% of mothers with children under 18 participate in the labor force, with over 75% employed full-time. Maria's role as a mother is also shaped by subjectivity, which is better understood as the position that is constructed through discourse that idealizes certain possibilities for personhood. Subjectives, which are shaped by discourse, are created by society, and these subjectives tell Maria what it means to be an ideal mother and a non-ideal mother. To be an ideal mother, society tells Maria that she should be present as much as possible for her children, especially when they are young. Maria personally feels that in order to be a good mother, she must also work in addition to taking care of her children. However, she would be thought of herself as a bad mother if she was not able to balance her responsibilities and spend too much time away from her children. Despite having to balance work, childcare, and household management tasks full time, Maria feels fulfillment and satisfaction in her life because she is meeting the ideal expectations of working motherhood. She does not consider the possibility of creating more leisure time for herself as long as she is able to fulfill her duties as a working mother. These are just some of the subjectivities that influence Maria, her role as a mother, and her role as a worker. In addition to discourse and subjectivity, Maria's role as a mother is shaped by governing, or any action that has to do with trying to shape the conduct of someone else. In Maria's case as a mother, she is governed by employers because her employer provides maternity leave for mothers, but her husband's employer does not provide paternity leave for fathers. Maria's husband took only a week off of work each time their children were born due to not having the opportunity for paternity leave. Therefore, it was not considered a possibility for her husband to take on a bigger role in childcare when their children were born. By having 6 to 8 weeks of maternity leave as a work benefit, Maria was the one who stayed home and spent the most amount of time with her 3 children when they were young, which affects her action as a mother. Maria is also governed by her family structure. Maria comes from a culture that advocates good moms stay at home and care for their children until they are grown. Maria's family embodies this belief as her husband shapes her conduct by encouraging her to stay home and as she has passed on the responsibility of caregiving to her own mother and mother-in-law when deciding to go back to work. Additionally, Catholicism defines the roles of mothers and wives to be the domestic figure and satisfy the needs of their children. Maria is governed by her church, as her faith encourages her to stay home and spend time with her family when her children are young as well. Through the analysis of Maria's occupation as a mother via the constructs of occupational possibilities, we were able to better understand contextual factors that shaped her life and what she thought was possible to do as a mother in the United States. Discourse on motherhood, subjectivity of what it meant to be an ideal versus non-ideal mother, and governance shaped Maria's occupational possibilities of motherhood.